clash. They've met in 2 All-Ireland finals, 2 All-Ireland semi-finals going back to 1960. The man in charge is Joe McQuillan from Kilshamrocks in County Cavan. Down won the toss and they're playing from left to right. In other words, from the Hill 16 down towards the Davin stand or the Canal end, if you're more of a traditionalist. So let's see what Down are made of. Let's see what Kerry are made of, considering that they're missing 6 of last year's All-Ireland winning side. No Dermot Murphy, no Ty Canelli, no Tommy Walsh, Dara O'Shea, gone. Tomas O'Shea, Paul Galvin, at the moment suspended. So it's going to be a big test. And we'll find out exactly the calibre and the character of both of these teams. Mike McCarthy, there's a down toss Micheál Quirk. And the down midfield is quite a strong combination. Ball inside, it's a chance for Poland. It's the back of the net. Mark Poland. An incredible start for the men from Ulster, scoring his first goal in the championship of 2010. He's already notched 13 points, but this is a cracking goal, and Brendan Keeley was left totally exposed.
Well, we were speaking about the Kerry midfield early on. That time Micheál Quirk was absolutely indecisive when he got the ball. A lovely interception then and a good transfer to Mark Poland. Took his chance, kept his nerve. Great start for Down.
Well, having spoken and met several of the Down players during this past week, they're really... But a nervous start by the Down keeper. And a goal conceded by the other keeper at the other end. Long ball down towards Brittany Coulter. Going back to gather it is Mike McCarthy. Still Coulter. Picked up an ankle injury today week, but he's now fully recovered. Aidan O'Mahony. Micheál Quirk, terrible ball. Downer chasing everything. Oh, lovely little chip. Lovely little pickup. It's created a space and it has created a point. What a start by the men from the county where the Mourne Mountains dominate. Benny Coulter with a point.
Yeah, again, Pat was speaking early on about the Kerry tendency to hand pass. You hand pass in your back line on a day like this. Just going back to the other side, just watch for a minute. Again, wonderful anticipation by Cooper that time from a mistake by Brendan McVeigh. But on the other side again, that was a huge mistake.
The Down captain, Ambrose Rogers, scored a goal and 3 points so far in the championship. He's hit this sweetly. A goal and a point from play and a point from a 45. You couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, but you remember going back to the Tyrone game, it was very similar to this. Against Tyrone, they went something like 6 points to 1 up after 10 minutes.
Field. Donica Walsh loses control rather easily, and handling and making sure that each pass is going to the chest is vital. Nice ball inside. First touch is good from Mark Poland. Sends it in low. Good defending by Tom O'Sullivan. Ball favours Martin Clark. Quick to lay it off. Inside, far as Paul McComiskey. It's going to sneak inside, is it? The umpire is going for the flag and he's raising it. Yes, a point by Paul McComiskey. Ambrose Rogers a point from a 45. Poland a goal. Brendan Coulter and Paul McCuskey all points from play.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that one. I noticed Tommy Griffin was arguing.
Micheál Quirk. Declan O'Sullivan, Seamus Scanlon, Darren O'Sullivan. Kieran is going to make the run. Donaghy flipping it inside towards Brian Sheehan in space. He's having a crack. And this time there's absolutely no mistake. It is Kerry's opening score after 13 and a half minutes of action.
Yeah, in this case, Dan Gordon very loose on Kieran Donaghy, and Donaghy had the vision to pick Sheehan out very easily, and a good score for Kerry to open their account. But Gordon, he's not a natural fullback. He needs to go shoulder to shoulder directly with Donaghy to prevent him from getting primary ball. He didn't do it that time. Down suffered.
He's the Down players foul, the man with the ball. In towards Colm Cooper. Darren O'Sullivan wanted it to be laid off quickly. Still the Gooch on the turn, on the scoring sheet for the first time in this All-Ireland quarter-final. You cannot give him a sniff of a score, but he will take it.
Well, just stand back and admire it. Admire that sidestep, getting the ball onto his right foot, which is his weaker one, you sometimes ask. That's delightful. Great score by Cooper to open his account for the day. Colin Cooper, and gives Cooper again to extend his scoring for the day. I think he scored one from play already.
No problem for the Dr. Crooks man. His first appearance was in a Division 2 final against Laois 8 years ago. And funny enough, the omens were really significant. He scored a goal within 5 minutes. He's been doing it since, really.
Very much so.
It looks a little bit harsh, Martin, doesn't it?
I thought it was a very soft free now, to be honest with you, for Kerry. I thought McKernan went in to actually try and block the kick.
There's the Hill 16 camera giving you a perspective. Easy enough for Colin Cooper. Well, it may have taken him almost 14 minutes. Rogers and Calum Kane. Mark O'Shea. You'd think he was playing centre back or wing back. Trouble looming for Down. It's the Gooch. It's Cullum. It's Donegal Walsh. It's Killian Young. It's the back of the net. But the referee has blown his whistle. Kerry players are protesting. But Joe McQuillan's whistle did sound, and he's indicating that it was a foul pass. And Kerry players are incensed. What had it an underhand?
I thought there was an underhand striking action there. The referee is the important person. He didn't just watch it. I thought there's an underhand striking action that time to Killian Young. Maybe Killian overcarried the ball, but I think the foul was called for the illegal.
Twice an All-Ireland senior football medalist, twice an All-Star. Guided the Queen's University College in Belfast to a Sigerson Cup. Here's a former Australian rules footballer, Martin Clark. He hits it well. Good score. They've hit 245s over the bar down. First by Ambrose Rogers, the second by Martin Clark.
Well, he's been a great addition to Down since the return from Australian rules football. I think to date he had scored 1 goal and 20 points in the championship. That's a fabulous score from a 45.
You might recall that he was with Collingwood in Australia for a little while. Huge boost to have him back in the red and black of Down. 50 years, of course, since Down won their first All-Ireland and brought the Sam Maguire across the border. Inside is Benny Coulter, back outside to Clark, difficult enough angle, and he judges it perfectly. 2 points for Martin Clark. So much expected of him, but this is where it really matters. Croke Park for an All-Ireland quarter-final. No question, no doubt, hit it sweetly. Coulter to Clark to a point.
Yeah, again, the genesis of that score came from, I think it was Kirk losing the ball out on the sideline, was tumbled by a good tackle from a Down defender. And from a Down point of view, they'll be very happy with this. They've had very few attacks today, but any time they've come up, they've been very economical. And once again, Marty Clark that time makes sure if it drives the ball over the bar rather than touches it, has started to get into the game.
And O'Mahony.
Them winning the last 3 Kerry kickouts.
Mark Poland taking this free. He walks away confidently. The job is done. He was on the under-21 team, Mark Poland, that lost the All-Ireland final to Galway in 2005 when Shawnee Armstrong, who I met actually at the Galway races during the week, and Michael Meehan, went on a rampage, scoring rampage. 5 years later, it's Down that's in the All-Ireland quarter-final. Mark O'Shea, Footballer of the Year 3 years ago.
In the last five minutes or so, they're not finding their men with balls, and again, those balls out to the sideline aren't helping them at all.
Added to by Martin Clark. Oh, Danny Hughes just about it, and well, your luck is in. It falls to Mark Poland. Danny Hughes is back outside, thought about giving the pass. Thomas Sullivan chases after Mark Poland. That is brilliant football. He's a man on form. That is a goal and 2 points. And it all started with Danny Hughes pursuing a ball, just about making it, giving it to Poland, hitting it this time on his left. Brilliant.
Wonderful bit of work that time by Hughes. Great bit of perseverance, flick to Poland. I thought for a moment Poland had fouled the ball. I don't think he did. And again took a great point.
By the way, Kerry haven't scored since the 21st minute. And if you look at your television screens, that is all of 12, almost 13 minutes ago. Clear pushing them will continue. And that Kerry could possibly fail to beat Down in this All-Ireland quarter-final in their 5th championship meeting. Are the All-Ireland champions in trouble? Mark Poland scored a goal and 2 points in a half-time score of Down 1-7, Kerry 4 points. Much to talk about, much to debate. Michael.
Yes, that sequence has continued for a half of this match anyway, whatever happens in the final analysis of it. Quick word from one of our panellists here from Pat Spillane. Pat, Kerry, a bit of work to do.
Yeah, it's quite possible. He said it's probable, actually, the way they're playing at the moment. They went the first 13.5 minutes without scoring, Kerry, the last 16 minutes without scoring, so their 4 points was in a 5-minute spell. That was it. Down started well, got the start they wanted, 1-3 to no score up after 13 minutes. They're sharper, they're hungrier, and you can see they've been playing matches over the last 3 or 4 weekends. Kerry have had a break for a month, and certainly Kerry have been off the pace in this game. A half-hour line non-existent, dependent on Gooch and Donaghy. And that's about it. It's been a very poor, great display by Down, poor display by Kerry, and OK, Kerry people will argue about, a goal that was disallowed that should not have been disallowed. But we'll talk about that later.
We will talk about that later. We're going to take a short break. Welcome back again to the programme. Half-time in this afternoon's football quarter-final between Kerry and Down. Down leading 1 goal and 7 points to 4 points. Joe Bradley, Colin Rourke, Pat Spillane here with me in the studio. I think, Colin, the most impressive thing about that first half from a Down point of view was they got the ideal start. Then Kerry started to get a grip of the game, but Down then steadied themselves once again to finish well in the half.
Absolutely. It's been good for the game that Down got to start, because after 10 minutes Kerry took a sort of an iron grip on proceedings, and I think at 8 or 9 kickouts in a row that they won, and a statistic came up with about 60-something% possession to Kerry at that time, and it looked as if they were going to steamroll them, but they just haven't been able to get those easy scores. Brian Sheehan has missed a few, and then Down struck back in the last 7 or 8 minutes, and of course Marty Clark has been the dominant personality of the game, and he helped steady Down, worked all over the pitch and got the possession they needed. But of course the disallowed goal is the crucial thing, a perfect goal which is disallowed, which would have really put Kerry in the driving seat.
Look at that in a moment, but let's look at the goal that was allowed. Joe Bradley, this was we were barely sitting in our seats when this hit the onion sack, as they say.
Well, you know, their forwards have a lot of composure, and that axis of Clark and Poland and McComiskey has worked very, very well for them. Poland is young, but he's a terrific finisher, and he played with great aplomb and confidence, and this is a hallmark of Down teams when they come to Croke Park. He's very relaxed. It's not an easy finish by any means. He makes his mind up he's going to stick it in the net. He takes a look at the keeper, does everything right, beautifully taken, and you know, the perfect start for Down.
Pat, you were shook by that one.
I mean, what you're looking at here is Kerry slow hand passing out of defence, caught in possession, and then Tom O'Sullivan there, I thought, when the hand pass came in towards Poland, I thought it was Tom O'Sullivan's ball. You know, he flung himself at it.
An audacious fit pass too from McComiskey.
Poor defending, but a fantastic goal, Michael, no arguments. Brilliant goal.
Let's look at that other goal that wasn't Colin. This was the Kerry goal.
Yeah, well, Kerry were beginning to put good passing movements together, and 2 Down backs went for a ball there and left Gooch, and instead of taking the easy point, gives inside to Donncha Walsh, and a quick hand pass to Killian Young, which would have left him. Now, I know the Down backs have pulled up, but a clear striking action. Like, most of the decisions in this game have gone Down's way, so it'll fuel Kerry's sense of injustice. But like,
I'm not so sure about that, Paul. I disagree with that.
That's a very obvious hand pass. It's not one that's even debatable. And you look at it, well, you know, in fairness, the Down backs stood still.
Yeah. I've talked about traffic wardens being sent in instead of referees, and he is the classic traffic warden. I mean, the man is a complete menace, you know, and that was a very, very vital decision. I mean, Down are clearly, in the first half, the better team. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, that was a terrible, terrible decision, and he was right on top of it.
Just again, just come back to, I mean, again, we've said this earlier in the season, is the referee not put in a very difficult situation by the fiddliness of some of the rules?
How can he be sure? How can he be sure that there's no striking action there when it?
How can he be sure there is? I mean,
come on, you don't. That's not how you work.
I know, being a Kerry person, I'd be accused of bias and say that, but I like to call things as I see it. I mean, at the start of the year, for the first couple of weeks, we were criticising all this thing because the referees were blowing for hand passes, which in our opinion were clearly striking hand passes. Now, somewhere along the line, they had a meeting with the referees and they said, look, lads, unless it's a blatant fucking throw, we'll leave everything go. For the last 2 months, everything has been let go until suddenly, out of the blue, Joe McQuillan pulls the rabbit from the hat and blows, which was a clear striking action by Donncha Walsh. What's crazy in a way, I'm always taking about this ticking the boxes.
But he likes, Paddy, the referee likes to be the centre of attention.
But just before that, Kevin McKernan had taken 2 fellas out in 2 late tackles and he didn't even get a yellow card. Now, it might cost Kerry the game. Now, down with the better team. You know, they're more clinical in possession, but that was a really, really wrong decision.
OK, let's look at a more positive aspect, Joe Bradley, of this game, the performance of Martin Clark for one. The down forwards generally, but Martin Clark, he scored a lovely point.
I've seen him 3 times in the league this year, and I thought on each occasion the man has no doubt sort of touched with a bit of greatness, and he knows how to influence a game just by moving the ball along, his positional sense, and you know, his general composure. I mean, here's a very, very good example of it. Just wait to see the time he takes. He scans his options, very tight angle. But if you'd seen it from our angle, it was beautifully taken. You know, and he doesn't hang around in the ball. You'll never see him being blocked down or anything like that. His movement's been excellent. Back into the defence. He goes at the right time to the right position. He's just blessed with that natural ability that ordinary footballers aren't.
And this is good work here by Mark Poland as well.
This was great work, Creighton, and this was a great score, you know. But actually, just go back to the last score by Martin Clark. In the two passes that led up to Clark's point, there was 2 far more blatant throwing actions rather than the one that Donncha Walsh had been put up with. But look, Down are working harder, they're more clinical, and that was a fantastic score.
OK, we're headed for another break here on the programme. Back with the second half of Kerry versus Down straight after that.
Super Value and the GAA Football All-Ireland Championship. Real local passion.
A new chapter in Irish rugby is about to begin as the Aviva Stadium opens for business. All 4 Irish provinces will take part as Leinster and Ulster take on Connacht and Munster. Highlights of combined provinces tonight at 9 on RT2.
Henry Shefflin talks about the last 15 minutes.
You get one chance at it, you know, when you're out there in Croke Park, you know, you get one opportunity. You have to be strong, you have to be on your toes, you have to be ready to go. You come to the part of the game, the men will stand up and take it by the scruff of the neck.
Lucas 8 Sport helps you go longer and stronger in the last 15 minutes.
Lucas 8 Sport gives me the energy to keep me going right to the end.
Lucas 8 Sport. Last longer, finish stronger.
With so many new trains, so many new services, and these great value online fares from just €10, you can comfortably make your money go further. See irishrail.ie.
Now, again, Pat, you've got a bit of work to do to make it through to the semi-finals.
We have indeed, and I would be worried for them. I didn't see enough in that first half to suggest that they're going to turn it around. I think this is a team that's done a lot of mileage. There's 5 over 30s in the backs, and they really have to raise their game. They're getting nothing at all. Like, they don't seem to know how to do with the down sweeper. The Kerry half-hour line are absolutely non-existent. They've had no score.
Is this like a Paul Galvin now again?
It's absolutely. You know, it's absolutely. And you know what you have in the half-hour line are runners. They're lads who like to carry the ball. They're carrying the ball, and by the time they get to release the ball, it's bad ball into Donny. Oh, jeez, he's running into cul-de-sacs and whatever. And whatever few balls are given into Kieran Donny, they're 50-50 ball. Dan Gordon is breaking, and they have the sweeper in collecting.
Well, I think the point I was making before the game about small players being suited by wet conditions, it was valid there. The likes of McComiskey and Marty Clark is big enough, but Daniel Hughes
McComiskey's a great example of it.
And Mark Poland have done very well. Now the ground is drying out, things are going to suit Kerry, but the likes of Declan O'Sullivan and Donaghy haven't been in the game at all. You know, it's a big test for an ageing Kerry team. They haven't the 5th Cavalry in the subs like they normally have to bring on. David Moran is on. And apart from Barry John Keane, there's hardly anybody that you would say in the Kerry subs who are going to make an appreciable difference to the game. So it's going to have to be a massive effort. Now, they're capable of doing this, you know, their own personal pride will dictate that they're going to surge forward, I'd say, from the backs from now on.
Kerry, I was still waiting for Down.
Well, when you've got treacherous underfoot conditions like that, it's much more difficult to score. 6 points is a very, very sizable lead. When you've got two free takers of the calibre of Martin Clark and Ambrose Rogers, I mean, Down just need to keep ticking over. It's the best opportunity that they'll ever have, you know. And, you know, as things stand at the moment, you would have to fancy them.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Colin Burke. They have a great chance here.
They certainly have. Everything is in Down's favour.
He's gone to midfield.
No, Dan, he's midfield now.
He's gone to midfield.
Well, he's standing on the mid, so presumably that's going to be a tactic then, Pat.
But this is robbing Peter to pay Paul now. I mean, remember Kerry's tactics for the last number of years have revolved around Donny as the pivot at full forward. So now with Donny in midfield, which he will win primary possession, but it means that the only fellow who's probably going to provide the scores is Gooch, and to a lesser extent, hopefully, Declan O'Sullivan.
James is taking his time there, but he has no runners-up medal to smash against anything.
Yeah, the likelihood, though, I can't understand. Normally, you would expect a Kerry team to put their best fielder to the middle of the field for the throw-in to just get possession, and he can go back into full forward. So I would say that that's what they will do with Donaghy. Hopefully, he get the ball and get Kerry moving.
A massive sigh of relief for Down if Kieran Donaghy's brought to the middle of the field, because it illustrates to Down that they're having a severe impact on Kerry's confidence. And I mean, the whole purpose of the Kerry enterprise is Kieran Donaghy on the edge of the square with Cooper playing off him.
But you know, Colm quoted that statistic after 18 minutes. Kerry had 62% possession, and they were 4 points down. And why were they 4 points down? Because they weren't using the possession wisely. And do you know, when there's a sweeper, the likes of Declan O'Sullivan, them should be trying maybe for long-range shots, or should be providing an attacking option, but they're not providing an attacking option.
The other thing we haven't seen with Kerry, we haven't seen Mark O'Shea or Mike McCarthy, who normally surge forward at different times and score points. And I would say that Jack O'Connor's instructions now will be, you have to get forward to help out the forward line.
I thought you were going to say that one of the things we rarely see with Kerry, apart from against Tyrone when they didn't respond, is how they respond in the face of real adversity. This rarely has happened to Kerry over the last decade. Now we'll see what they're made of in the second half. Hold on a second.
It happened in the two Cork games.
You can complain about 3 or 4 players missing, but I never heard Tyrone or any of those teams complaining about it. You know, this is a severe test of Kerry's mettle.
No doubt about that. Time to head back to the commentary box to rejoin.
Watch this again. Little bit severe by the referee, to be honest with you. He should have allowed him to continue on. As Martin Clark takes the free and takes the point. 3 points from Marty Clark on a misty and at times sunny afternoon, and thankfully it's the latter at the moment.
Yes, there's another change that's quite significant from a Kerry point of view. They put Mark O'Shea out centre half back at the moment, and well, I think both are in communication with the referee at the moment. I notice they're on their mics to him, and I think the referee is going over to Derek Fahey.
Yes, the referee is going to check. This is what was going on behind the scenes and behind the football action of Donica Walsh. And it looked like the right half back, Declan Rooney. So the referee is going to show a yellow card to those two players. Now that means, just for clarification purposes, that the entire Kerry half forward line are all on yellow. So that means Darren O'Sullivan, Declan O'Sullivan, Donica Walsh, all on yellow. Declan Rooney of Down to number 5, the only one on yellow. As that is tapped over the bar by Colm Cooper, that's his 4th of the game. And that's Kerry's first score, by the way, since the 21st minute of the first half. That's an awful long time down in the kingdom. Just outside the Down 45-metre line. Dead straight in front of the post. Hits him well. Over the bar. That's his second in this All-Ireland quarter-final.
Yeah, what's interesting about...
Throw in, and that one is 4 o'clock. And what about this? Are Down going to have the shot with the championship. On the turn, Paul McComiskey. Sunshine or rain. The man has talent and huge scoring potential. Diagonal ball to McComiskey. No hanging about, no messing about. Has a lash. Good score, and they love it.
Yeah, and Tom O'Sullivan won't love that. A little bit loose once again.
The Kerry senior football. Seamus Scanlon. Over this side, Aidan O'Mahony. Through the middle, Brian Sheehan. The Gooch wants it diagonally. Declan O'Sullivan. Conor Garvey right beside him. Colm Cooper. Declan O'Sullivan has gone inside. Lovely hop, lovely turn. Great score. Is that the beginning of the comeback? It's Colm Cooper's 5th point. What beautiful balance. Left or right footed, it always seems to work for the Gooch.
Yeah, the quality though of the crossfield ball that time gave the advantage to Cooper. He took it with aplomb. It's interesting they're bringing off Seamus Scanlon. That's again, I think, the second or third game in a row that they've replaced both their first choice midfielders.
So Seamus Scanlon is off. Micheál Quirke was injured. You consider that Kieran Donaghy has to move from full forward out to midfield. Barry John Keane from Cairnrahillings, third member from that club, now on the field of action. And here he is. This lad is a good footballer now, if you haven't seen him before. Well marshalled this time. High challenge by Donegal Walsh. And remember, Donegal Walsh is already on a yellow card. Remember that at the start of the second half. Kerry about to be reduced to 14 players. Referee Joe McQuillan from Caelan, County Cavan is the referee. He shows a yellow card for the second time to Walsh, and Kerry are reduced to 14 players. Trouble, big trouble for the All-Ireland champions 2009. Did you ever feel this is not going to be their day?
Just watch it, he comes in here, catches him around the neck, didn't go in with any great viciousness or anything like that, but certainly planned this game very well so far. From the Burn in County Down, from Killarney, the Gooch. And as normal, we're heading towards our programme and indicating that's a point. A Gooch fan in Croke Park, one day hoping to wear the Kerry jersey, no doubt. Down, quickly taken by Martin Clark. Benny Coulter, will he take on? And he will. Aidan O'Mahony cutting it inside! Paul McComiskey! And the referee has blown his whistle, and he's given a free out. Goal not allowed for a foul throw. Drama in Croke Park in the first of our quarter-finals, 2010. Good defending by Kevin for down in the second half. And Kerry respond. It's 2 against 1 here. Right man, right place. Gooch to Donaghy. Brilliant save by Brendan McVeigh. Loads of excitement in Croke Park in this All-Ireland quarter-final. McVeigh rescues, denies Kieran Donaghy. Down at that end, that's Jimmy Galligan and T.P. Gray to look at the big screen, I think. Meanwhile, it's another point for Kerry. You just take this save, I think once again we'll see it coming up.
It's 12 minutes since Down scored in this All-Ireland quarter-final. Referee is looking for a blood substitute for Kerry. It looks like Aidan O'Mahony has picked up an injury. There's confirmation of Ronan Murtagh. Add a bit of scoring power to that Down attack. Just for clarification, Aidan O'Mahony is back on, having received some medical attention along the sideline. Benny Coulter. Back to Martin Clark again. To Coulter. Slipping one through. Nice ball. Mark Poland had a dramatic first half. Lays it off. Chance here for Down. And Croke Park is alive to red and black flags. Well worked. Good composure. Patient build-up. Good finish.
Yeah, that's a lovely score.
Goes long. Very long. Cutting a dash. Ronan Murtagh. Benny Coulter wanted it inside. Still Murtagh. Benny Coulter gets by the first challenge from Aidan O'Mahony and swings it over the bar for his second point in this All-Ireland quarter-final. And are Down heading for an All-Ireland semi-final for the first time since 1994. Are they about to knock Kerry, the All-Ireland champions, the Munster champions, out of the 2010 championship? It wasn't supposed to happen.
It's unfair to write the obituary before you hear the death.
Damien Rafferty lays it off quickly to big Caleb King. In the centre, Conor Garvey. Into the space goes Damien Rafferty. I think it's a good call. Leave it for this man, Benny Coulter. Difficult angle. Going for his third point of the match. Sensational play by Down. From Mayo Bridge, same club as the great Mickey Linden, 28 years of age, since the 7th of June. He's a man on form, didn't score against Sligo Down to win the All-Ireland. They said it was going to be a motivation. Maybe it was a factor. Maybe they saw the great Sean O'Neill and Paddy Doherty and so many more of these Down stars being celebrated across the Mourns in 2010 at the GA Congress in beautiful Newcastle. Has it inspired this young Down team to achieve a victory that many thought wouldn't happen? Ronan Murtagh, great score. They look unstoppable with 7 minutes to go, and Kerry are looking rattled, to say the least.
Well, they're looking rattled, and again, once beautiful play.
Park at the Hill 16 end. Is he about to guide his team to an All-Ireland semi-final? Almost 12 minutes since Kerry scored. It's dropping in. Dan Gordon knocks it away. There's a chance here. Back out, right man. Flicks it inside to Donaghy. Chance of a goal. Brilliant save! For the second time, McVeigh rescues the men of Down. Live, remember, Dublin against Tyrone next. 6 minutes, there's a yellow card being shown. I'm not too sure to whom, but we'll talk about that in a moment when we get clarification. Colin Cooper stands over this. Look at the scoreline. Happy to tap this one over from about 35 metres out for his 7th point of the match. Marty Clark going to take the free. 6 points, remember, between the teams. This to guarantee, not that I think there's any doubt, it's over the bar for his 4th point of the match. Can we say, with 2.5 minutes to go, 7 points between the teams, that Jack O'Connor and Kerry are not going to be in the All-Ireland semi-finals?
Well, I'd say it looks very like it now, and I didn't see history, to be honest with you, repeating itself today. I didn't see Down recording the...
Not once have Kerry been able to beat Down. What is it? What is it about a Down man? They have the Indian sign over the kingdom. Ronan Murtagh back outside. Farrell's a man that wants to impress. Peter Fitzpatrick, Farrell's Murtagh, great block down by Anthony Marr. Back out Farrell's Peter Fitzpatrick. It's dropping high, it's curling, it's going over the crossbar. Incredible.
It's incredible, but it's fully deserved. And what is it about them? They have been the more confident team, the more composed team, and away by far the more cohesive team today. They played fabulous football.
Team they've beaten, Kerry, Munster, All-Ireland champions. Benny Coulter deserves to play in an All-Ireland semi-final. So too does the captain, Ambrose Rogers, bearing down on goal, hits it high, up towards Hill 16, and puts it over the bar for his 2nd point of the game. It's a brilliant performance by Down, and unquestionably the performance of the Championship 2010.
You know, we sometimes talk about Kerry loving to get into this form.
Ball is aimed at Colin Cooper. Floating one in towards Kieran Donaghy. Barry John Keane is inside. The referee has blown his penalty. He's going to give a penalty, is he? Yes, he is. A penalty to Kerry for the foul on Kieran Donaghy. There was an elbow, says Joe McQuillan. Now, was there? Dan Gordon was with him. There was a throw from Kieran Donaghy, but I think he was fouled.
He was pulled out in the first instance there. He was pulled that time, definitely. Okay, through the pass subsequently, but this is only in the consolation mode.
David Moore facing Brendan McVeigh. Moore slots it into the net, and it's a consolation prize for the Kingdom of Kerry. Hit it beautifully. No question that the keeper could reach that. We're heading into the 2nd minute of injury time, of additional time. Call it whatever you like. The referee, Joe McQuillan, wants the football. It's Down's day in Croke Park. James McCartan has guided his team back to an All-Ireland semi-final for the first time since he played in 1994. It's a historic day for Gaelic football because once again it started in 1960, in 1961, 1968, and again 19 years ago in 1991. On each and every occasion, the men of Kerry failed to beat Down. The experts said it couldn't happen, surely for the 5th time. These boys were going for their retention of their All-Ireland title, but there might be some of the reasons. The absence of Tomás O'Shea, the absence of Paul Galvin, the retirement of the great Darragh O'Shea meant that Kieran Donaghy eventually had to come out to midfield. But no matter what Kerry did today, they couldn't beat a rampant downside. They were formidable, they were passionate, they were simply brilliant.
Yeah, and credit Kerry as well. Every single Kerry man went over and shook the hands of his opponent thereafter. As I saw Mark O'Shea, Kieran Donaghy, they were great champions. They've had their day. They move off the stage now and welcome Down back again to a semi.
What a day, Michael.
What a day indeed. Marty Morrissey, Martin Carney, thank you very much. Let's get the reaction from the panel. Joe Brolly, history does count for something at the end of it all, doesn't it?
Well, I just think the Down boys, when you look at them, you know, they're sort of probably wondering what all the fuss is about. It's not a big deal for them. And I remember them doing this in 1991 and sitting aghast in the stand with Brian McGilligan thinking, look what they're doing to me. And they don't seem to care when they come down here. I think that it was a most aristocratic performance, particularly in the second half. I mean, the truth is they dismantled Kerry. And, you know, there are no excuses. You know, when Tyrone or any of the better teams are beaten, you know, there are no excuses. I mean, Kerry came today with what they thought was a very strong lineup, and they were thrashed, you know, genuinely thrashed. Now, I know that they were poor and they looked one-dimensional and all of that, but Down made them look poor, and their finishing was excellent. You know, they were all over them, and they played, you know, as though they were Kerry, which is their want. You know, I mean, they come here and they feel it's their birthright, and you know, it has to be said now, even spanning, they arrive every sort of 10 or 15 years and they play like aristocrats, and that's what they've done today.
Incredibly well. Pat Spillane, commiserations first of all. This Kerry team, they've been a great team these last number of years, but as Joe said, you couldn't argue with that result today.
No, you can't, Michael, no. We could clutch at straws and blame the CCC, who decided to suspend 2 players that the referees didn't have a problem with. We could point to a possible maybe goal that should have been allowed in the first half. We could argue about Donncha Walsh's sending off. But basically, the better team, Michael, won on the day. Look, this is a Kerry team that had been on the road. They were heading... they were going to their 10th or 11th successive All-Ireland semi-final. They've been in 5 of the last 5 All-Ireland finals. Do you know, Michael, this was a great Kerry team that they owe us, the Kerry supporters, absolutely nothing. But you know what you had? You had a ship that was holed at an early stage. You know, the changing of Donny out to midfield and all the different switches, that was rearranging the deck chairs of the Titanic. But at the end of the day, you know, the ship was going down. There was no lifeboats around, you know. We were beaten by the better team. Further time caught up. This is a team in transition. There's a lot of rebuilding ahead for Kerry, but I'm sure Kerry will be back. But, you know, credit, well deserved Down, the better team by a country mile.
Yeah. Well, Colin, you know, had there been a point or two in it in the end, you'd say some of those things that Pat mentioned might count, but Down just took them apart in that second half.
Yeah, well, I think we need to hold fire on sort of building Down up too much. With about 12 minutes to go, there was 3 points in it. Kerry with 14 men, and they had thrown everything they had, and they got to within 3 points, and then Donaghy had that chance, and once it went, that was it. And inevitably what happens with ageing teams is, when things like that, there comes a point when they say, it's just not working today, and then Down reeled off 7 points, I think, in the last 12 or 30 minutes. Beautiful scores. And James McCartan, in fairness, worked the bench well. He brought in Ronan Murta and Conor McGinn, and they kicked brilliant points. But at that stage, Kerry had thrown everything. There was no subs to bring on. You know, they were lacking the talent of last year.
They gave up, Colin.
But that's the very point I'm making, Joe, if you listen,
guys,
that at times an ageing team just say that's it.
Let's just hear from the man of the match from this first football quarter-final. It is Down's Martin Clark, and he's with Claire McNamara.
Yes, Michael, and Mairead Cremin from Super Value is here to present Marty Clark with his Man of the Match award.
Thanks very much.
Marty, congratulations. A terrific performance, and you've toppled the All-Ireland champions.
Yeah, it's just we're focused all week after we go over Sligo. Just focus on Kerry, to work hard. We're confident enough going in. Obviously, they had a few key players out, and we just wanted to hit them early and hopefully keep that momentum up, and we did that. They faded after they got the man off and that, so but it's brilliant to beat Kerry, the champs, as you said.
Yeah, you did hit them early. You got off to just a flying start, but still looked comfortable throughout and showed incredible confidence.
Yeah, we do have a lot of confidence in the team. Trainings since the Tyrone beat us in the Ulster Championship, trainings have just went up a notch. We're playing a lot of football, and everyone's competing for places. So I suppose a knock-on effect in games, we're just come to Croke Park, and you know, we performed today, and we have done over the last 4 weeks. So we're in the semis now, so we're looking forward to that.
It's 5 out of 5 now over Kerry, so history must count for something.
Yeah, well, they were saying that on the way up. I think the media were focusing more on that than the players, but it's nice to carry that on for the lads in the 60s and 90s that they got one over on Kerry, because obviously they're a great side.
And very nice now to be in the last 4.
Last 4, exactly, so we'll have a look tomorrow and see who we get. I'm sure the lads will study them and tell us where to go with them, but 2 good teams, so looking forward to it.
Okay, congratulations today, Marty, well done.
Thanks a million.
Yeah, Martin Clark, who is our man of the match from that first quarter-final. When things were going not great for Kerry, they got worse in the sense that the Donegal Walsh sending off left them a man down at a time that they needed an extra man, perhaps.
Absolutely, and of course there was some strange decisions all day, but Donegal Walsh and Declan Rooney got into a dragon match. You can see in the top of the screen there.
This is the first incident now.
Yeah, Donegal Walsh had made a run and was pulled back, and eventually you know, it ended up with both of them getting yellow cards, himself and Declan Rooney. And then, you know, when you're in that sort of trouble, Donegal Walsh is only himself to blame anyway. He then made a sort of a half-high tackle, you know, was harmless enough.
Oh, totally harmless.
As it turned out then, you know, when you're on yellow card, you should be careful, and he pulled back. I think it was Paul McComiskey, and he gets a yellow card in Poland. So it ends up, at that stage, Kerry were in big trouble, and it, you know, was with the final nail in the coffin.
And with Down's packed defence, once Down went 5 or 6 points ahead, they were able to defend numbers, which is their natural game. James has been working on that for the year, and then there was no space. And then finally, the mystifying decision to bring Donaghy out to the middle of the field with 20 minutes to go, when they had absolutely no support otherwise for Cooper, who was, by the way, alongside Clark, magnificent today, you know, but and continued to carry the fight.
Michael, first of all, I mean, Donegal Walsh, it was a stupid tackle to get a second yellow, and he deserved to go. The move of Donny was absolutely complete stupidity. It was a sign of panic, and I mean, you look at the Cole statistics, that the Kerry forwards, and I don't know how many played in the forward line today, probably 9 players. The Kerry forwards scored 3 points from play. Gooch got 2 of them, Brian Sheehan got 1 in 13 minutes, and the rest contributed absolutely nothing. Gooch was fighting a lone battle up front.
Yeah, another thing is, as I said, there were incidents all day long. There was the down goal earlier on, the disallowed Kerry goal for the first half, the sending off, but also another situation. McVeigh made a crucial save, Colin, at a point when a goal for Kerry might have just kept them going here. Yeah, well, the second save on this, but this first one is the crucial one.
Yeah, he made 2. Donaghy had 2 great chances of goals. Again, Gooch, and
the wrong man.
Yeah, but the problem always, if you're too close to the goalie, it's harder to score. If he was another 3 or 4 metres out, it would have left it easier. But McVeigh spread himself, and there were 2 great chances of goals for Kerry, and we see in this one save. They worked this one well, and I think this is a better save because he has to get down real low very quickly. Again, you know, if the referee was looking for throws, Gooch's there could have been deemed one much more so than Donegal Walsh at the first half, but McVeigh certainly paid his way for down, even though at that stage Kerry were unlikely to win anyway.
They were clutching at straws, there's
absolutely.
No doubt. And
unfortunately, Michael, it was the wrong man that got them. It was Gooch who wanted in a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
By the time Donny is such a tall fella, 6'5", by the time he has dropped the ball, by the time he has swung the leg, you know, the angles are narrow.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Didn't see too much of Benny Coulter certainly for the first half anyway, and then he gets a couple of points at the end to just close the deal.
Well, in fairness, at the end, you know, they were on the crest of a wave, and I mean, everybody who came on was taking a shot and scoring, and the crowd were olaying and all of that. And no doubt that was all very satisfying. You know, Benny, you know, had difficulties getting into the game today. I'll tell you what I've always thought about Benny. For a man with such marvellous physical attributes and finishing and all of that, he's really poor positional sense. He doesn't know where to be. Now, you contrast that with Clark. Clark's always in the right place. And I mean, Clark has made a huge difference. I think that the 2 big differences with Down this year are Clark and James McCartan. And they have made a massive difference. I was disappointed in Kerry's performance today, but obviously thrilled by Downs.
But like Michael, we said at the start, today was the day Kerry were going to be vulnerable.
Yes.
The 2 best footballers in the championship last year, Tomás O'Shea and Paul Galvin, were missing. And maybe we probably wrote off last week's performance by Down that Sligo were tired. But I mean, Down scored 3 goals and 20 points and beat Sligo by 19 points. So we knew the momentum was built up and they were sharp for today.
We have one county into this year's All-Ireland football semi-finals. Who will be next after the break?